down here in the bottom position, he is Neeblet for Ting. Ting.
And spawning in the top left-hand side, it is our red Terran player representing Cascade. It is Soul. Cute little octopus. I hadn't really spent too much time looking at the Cascade Esports logo before.
You know, it's always funny to kind of see, you know, I always kind of imagine that these logos, they look like softball uniforms, like beer league softball uniforms.
They do. I never thought about it that way, but you're so right. It's 100% like it's a kickball league or softball league. Like, let's go play a game, then
like
go to the pub, kind of.
Like, this is definitely meant to look intimidating. You know, who wants to deal with a big scary octopus? But I mean, at the end of it, it's just so cartoony. And then you see the person wearing it. They're like some 40-year-old dad who has trouble running down to first base. That
Yeah.
that it literally takes all the intimidation out of it.
Yeah, that is certainly true. All right, we do see NEEB over here being a little bit annoying. And actually, so that probe is going to see that it was a Marine first, which is a little bit, a little bit different. Normally we see that Reaper come across the map as the first unit from the Terran player. So NEEB's going to have to figure out what to do with that information.
Well, I think the thing is, a lot of the time Terran players kind of are starting to skip that Reaper, because what that does is that allows you to get out that reactor a little bit earlier, start your factory at a better timing, because we have seen Terran players start to go for some more aggressive kind of openings with those Hellions, with the Widowmine follow-up to that. And so I think that's really what we're going to see here out of Seoul, just go up to 2 to 4 Hellions and then try and Widowmine drop off the back of things.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely a strong play. Now, NEEB should be wise to it. He's got his Adept walking over. He'll be able to shade up to the high ground and see. We'll find out if he's able to confirm whether it's Hellions or Mines, but either way, he knows that something's going to be hitting him sometime around the 4.5, 5 minute mark, probably closer to 4.5. And be interesting to find out what it looks like.
Now, NEEB is going to be going for Stargate, which is pretty good. This is one of the weaknesses of this build, is that since you're pumping out Hellions, since you're getting Widowmines, you don't really have the Marine production to get consistent damage down on the Oracle coming across. So it's a little bit precarious situation where you have to position your Widowmines perfectly. And Soul's going to be going for a late Reaper here. That's interesting, actually.
Huh. Yeah. That's not the typical time for a Reaper. Definitely, not super standard. Now, we do see 4 mines loading up into this medevac, and I wonder if these Hellions are going to stay home or if he's going to try to, hit the front. 2 Hellions isn't really, you kind of want to have 3 to get that magic one-shot number. But yeah, 4 mines in the medevac is certainly scary.
Yeah, you got that shield battery as well, so I think these Hellions just need to start pushing the front, even getting the Reaper just in case there is a wall off. Actually, now thinking about that, that's so smart, because that KD8 charge can make it so that you will be able to break through a wall if there's a couple of Adepts. But, NEEB, he doesn't really have that wall off. And in fact, going to send the Adepts into the main base to try and defend this. He does not. Oh my god.
Oh no. NEEB immediately GGing. Didn't quite pull those probes far enough back and lost 24 of them.
Holy cow. Like, I'm speechless on that one, because I was about to say, NEEB, perfectly defended, but...
Yeah, he had the Oracle in the right spot and immediately started shooting. The probes didn't quite go far enough. He didn't pull them, like it was like a half second, right?
Literally, that's all it takes in StarCraft 2. Plus, we didn't see the damage start to go down in the natural because he GG'd so fast, but so solid out of NEEB.
Soul, yeah. getting
Soul.
those, yeah, getting those mines in there. Yeah, that I've been in that position, you know, many a times, and it hurts. It hurts so much.
It is so painful. My heart goes out to NEEB for that one, even though I'm a even though I'm a Terran and I'm literally going on the inside like. My heart
Yeah.
still breaks when you see a Protoss player die to that.
Yeah, it definitely not the way you want to go. But hopefully, you know, NEEB can shake it off, come back in game 2, be a little more prepared for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, you know. Soul is a very strong, very solid Terran player to come back from, but you know if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be someone like NEEB. But you know what? Why don't we stop talking about these players and why don't we introduce them? Spawning down here in the bottom for Cascade Gaming after cascading a Widow Mine into NEEB's base. He is Soul.
And in the top left-hand side, currently has more probes than he ended the last game with. It is our blue Protoss player from Ting. It is NEEB.
Oh, no, that was mean. No, you're banned
too soon,
now.
Too soon.
Too soon. Way too soon.
In all seriousness, though, I do have full faith that NEEB will be able to shake that off. I wonder, you know, we're playing on Europe. Maybe there's just like a slight ping issue, something like that, and you know he can shake it off and head into this game with a fresh mindset.
Yeah, I mean that's really a game you do need to shake off, and NEEB kind of knowing Soul is going to be going for a bit of a scout around here, kind of expecting those racks out on the map. But Soul, you know, he's pretty confident in his play, so he's not going to do anything too crazy to start things off. He just wants that pretty solid opening here. We might see him go for that Hellion once again, just because you know it did so well for him last game.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because it was like 2 Hellions into the 4 Widow Mines. You know, oftentimes we'll see, you know, like just the Widow Mines first and try to hit a little bit sooner. But I think obviously we saw that Soul knows what's up and was able to make it happen. This probe's going to be a little bit annoying here, but the Reaper coming out of the barracks should be able to scare that probe away. And something interesting to know, you mentioned, you know, going for the Marine first, it makes it a little bit faster in terms of getting your reactor. I think because NEEB didn't see a Marine walking down to the low ground, he's like, all right, it should be done by now. This means that you have a Reaper. And so he pulls that probe back, you know, a second earlier, and it gets to survive.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Soul being pretty cautious himself, just looking for that. He knows the one thing that's going to kill him is that fast proxy. But I mean, overall, I really think that we're okay. Let me collect myself here. It looks like from the kind of the positioning of his buildings, we're not going to see that same kind of Hellion opening because you do want the factory close by. But
yeah.
I mean, so far he's just going to be annoying. Yeah, he's just going to be a little bit annoying right now.
Oh no, is he going to be able to? Oh man, this Adept doing massive work here, killing that Marine before the bunker goes down, killing the SCV that was making the bunker, and delaying that command center. This is pretty, I mean, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it's like just denying that command center from finishing. It's actually pretty big. I don't know if he's going to be able to kill this SCV. I don't think so. I think the CC will finish. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Even going to save it with the garrison here. And now NEEB is going to be changing it up a little bit. He does have that Stargate once again, but he doesn't. But he's going for Phoenix off the back of this. A little bit of a Phoenix Adept opening, as these Adepts just doing massive amounts of work. They will have to get out of there as that one Adept is way too low to defend. But already massive amounts of damage for NEEB there.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at that, you know, all said and done, NEEB lost an Adept there and killed 2 SCVs, a Hellion, a Reaper, 3 Marines, delayed the command center, like just a huge amount of damage. So I think NEEB's happy with the opening of this game so far.
I think the Phoenix was actually revealed at this point, so Soul going to be playing it a little bit more reactionary, getting that Cyclone up. He's got the additional Viking as well. Just trying to keep himself safe, because once you get up to about 4 or 5 Phoenix, it's so kind of tricky to deal with. But
yeah, they're just flying in, picking stuff up. It can be problematic. We do see over in Soul. Yeah, I was gonna say, we see over in Soul's base, we got Cloak coming down and a Banshee cranking out as well. Robo is almost done, so we should see an observer or two come out. But yeah.
So I mean, NEEB transitioning off the back of this, only going for that 5 Phoenix. Soul is in position to deflect for right now, but it's really the follow-up which is so scary for NEEB, because the thing is, you did spend a lot of minerals into the Phoenix, and the biggest problem that you can have is if Soul decides to go for one big push with a couple of siege tanks, a ton of Marines, and just kind of hits that timing before you can really transition out.
Yeah, I mean, if Soul were knocking at NEEB's front door right now, I mean, he's got 4 adepts. Oh, I guess he's got an immortal out there too. But if we had some boys, those 2 tanks and those Marines, yeah, like you said, it could be kind of scary.
I like how NEEB is just kind of flying around with them right now. He hasn't really gotten a ton of damage done with them just yet. But one thing to note is, off the back of this, we still don't actually have anything from Soul. He doesn't have Stim started just yet, and he's just focusing on getting Banshees, which, by the way, are in the main base, but there is a shield battery, so you are going to need a second one in order to get some more damage done.
The shield battery's just slightly out of range. Some of the probes on the way back are not going to get saved. Total of 6 workers are going to go down. And I really liked how Soul was hitting, a couple bases at once, right? It's like, all right, your Robo hasn't been alive long enough for you to have enough observers to see me everywhere.
Yeah, now he's going to try and hunt that down a little bit. The Phoenix not going to follow. But yeah, I mean, the problem with that second Banshee is there was a shield battery in the perfect location to defend it. And I mean, Soul has not been aggressive anymore. He doesn't really want to overextend himself. Instead, just kind of focusing on getting that third base economy, kind of playing for the late game a little bit. Actually, he still doesn't have Stim.
Is that? Oh my gosh. You're right. He's getting combat shield right now. It's about halfway done. And he has another tech lab.
Oh, that is a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, it seems like an oversight. I mean, it could be that he's spending his gas elsewhere, and Soul has a plan. But I think you're right. I feel like he probably meant to have Stim going. This is, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to probably delay his push a little bit.
Yeah, because the thing is with Stim, it's a very long research time. They did decrease it by a little bit, but it's still like, I want to say 120, 130 seconds. So, I mean, any push that you're going to do is going to be that much weaker, because NEEB already getting that Templar Archives, he's going to have Storm, he's going to have a good Colossus count, and he's going to have +1 upgrades. So it's really hard to break that location.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think this might be the first time I've ever seen enhanced shockwaves finish before Storm. We do see that upgrading over at the Ghost Academy. I really hope that Soul doesn't get across the map and try to take a fight before realizing that Stim isn't done or even started. That could be tragic.
It looks like
then you don't have.
It looks like he's trying to move out a little bit. You can kind of see him put his units a little bit more forward, but it's really going to be when he pulls the trigger that he realizes that he doesn't have literally the Terran A move button.
Yeah. I mean, he might find out during this engagement right here. Couple Colossi, some charge ups. Now, the thing to note is
Oh,
technically
there you
NEEB
go.
doesn't know it either. Okay, we do see Stim starting up now. NEEB doesn't know that Soul's Stim is just now starting. So, I mean, he might be, just like, okay, I can't hit in here. He's going to Stim into me. I got to be safe. And as long as Soul can buy time for that upgrade to finish,
I mean,
he should be okay.
I mean, this is going to be the greatest feint in all of StarCraft 2 history if it happens, because NEEB is going to just realize that there is no stim, and then he's just going to pull the trigger. He's got quite a scary army right here, plenty of AoE and splash. And, Soul just trying to buy himself time for that stim to complete. Hiding it as well as he can, but, NEEB's got to realize it at some point.
Yeah, I'm surprised that NEEB doesn't even, like right there, I think would have been an opportunity. We would have expected to have those bio units kind of try to stim forward and snipe some of those Colossi. Yeah. I mean, at this point, Stim's almost done, right? We're at like, what, 75% of the way there. So I think Soul is almost out of the woods. I like the one hallucinated Phoenix hiding with the rest of them.
Yeah,
a little bit humorous.
Yeah, NEEB kind of just... NEEB is playing it very safe right now. He doesn't have Storm. He is just now getting his +2 upgrades pretty soon. Stimpack. Oh my goodness, the saving grace. That is literally the best notification that you can get in game.
Research complete. Upgrade complete. Yeah. We do see, looks like NEEB is choosing to go for disruptors over Storm as that kind of like zoning AoE. I like this extra hallucinated Colossus too. Just make his army seem a little bit bigger, Like, hey, you should be afraid of me.
Yeah, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. But, at this point, I think Soul has the perfect army comp to kind of deal with this. But we'll have to see. NEEB going to go for the first big engagement. Disruptor going to come forward, gets one of those ghosts, but the EMPs do fall down. The Disruptor's going to make sure that Soul can't engage into us, but we do have a small Adept run by in the third base. Going to pull away a lot of Soul's army, but NEEB not going to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I think NEEB's going to be happy taking, the 7 to 8 workers there. It's not the best trade for, I think that was, 4 Adepts that went in.
But still, it's kind of just a good positioning tool to use these small run-bys. We even see a couple of DTs going to be coming in as well.
Yeah, and I wonder, that's probably something that NEEB saw. It's like, hey, there are no turrets here. There is one turret on the high ground, but NEEB going to go ahead and take this big engagement here, sending the disruptor shots in. He's going to get all of the ghosts. No, there's one ghost still alive, 2 ghosts maybe over at the ramp, but most of this army at the front has fallen.
Soul really didn't disengage there when he should have. He's going to lose 9 more workers to the DTs, which I do think got cleaned up, but at the same time, he doesn't take the best fight in the front. The problem for NEEB is he just doesn't have enough to clean up house, and he has to back off. He has to retreat. So really back and forth here. Even though Soul hasn't really been on the other side of the map for a bit, he's just really holding this so efficiently. Just got to stop losing the ghost to disruptors, I got to say.
Yeah. We do see a huge number of turrets going down on this bottom left-hand side of Soul's base. He does not want that prism getting in anymore. That's what, 4, 5, 6 on that edge, plus a couple more scattered throughout the base.
That is a Silver League move right there that you see. So now, Silver Leaguers, now that you've seen that, you have permission to build as many turrets as you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can always point at this and be like, hey, Soul did it.
Yes,
like,
there you go.
It's a legitimate strategy. We do have a lot of DTs up at the top right-hand side, and they are getting ready to try to run in here. I don't think, DT Blink is not done yet. I imagine that NEEB's going to wait for that before he tries to go in, and I really like how NEEB's mining out these mineral patches. He can now send disruptor shots through this location here. One tank is going to take quite...
See, the problem the problem with this for NEEB is he doesn't actually have that much AO or air attack damage with this. Only 3 Stalkers with the army, so he's going to lose some very expensive units right there. There we go. The DT is going to be popping in, but there's enough missile turrets, and a lot of Seoul's army actually just going to engage into this as well. So really, I mean, good defense from Seoul all around.
Yeah, Shadow Stride wasn't quite finished yet, so he couldn't blink in. You know, going in a little early there on the side of NEEB. Now, I mean, all that's said and done, NEEB is taking all the bases, right? He's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases, right? He's got this bottom left-hand side, so he's up in the base count. But I don't know, you know, I'm a little bit worried what would happen if these two armies were to clash. It's all going to come down to that engagement, where they fight.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult for both sides to engage. The disruptors for NEEB make it so hard to push your way forward. And on Seoul's side, he has so many siege tanks and a lot of good units there. Still no turrets at the 3rd base. Scan going to go down a bit late. And the siege tank going to help clean that up. But still, that was a lot of damage that didn't need to happen.
Yeah, now, if we look at these armies, okay, NEEB is finally joining up. I don't think we've mentioned this yet. NEEB has been making carriers by, 3 at a time for the past few moments here. And he does have a mothership that's a little over halfway done. The Viking count currently up to 10 Vikings for Seoul. So, I mean, he's got some anti-air here. He just has to make sure that he, engages right and focus fires down and doesn't let those Vikings just die to all the interceptors.
Zealot's actually going to go on the right side, taking down quite a few of those siege tanks, and now NEEB is going to pull the trigger. He does have less of an army supply, but he does get to take down a lot of that splash in the tanks. The thing is, Seoul is just going to be replacing that with battle cruisers, so the fleet is in.
Yeah, and we also have a nuke coming down as well. There are 2 Ghost Academies. Is one nuke already finished? I think we might already have one nuke done. Does that show up in the units? Yeah, so we have one
units tab.
Yeah, so we do have one nuke available here. Be interesting to see how Seoul chooses to use that probably for zoning. Could be to shut down a base.
Only just now is Seoul taking down a missile turret. And that is quite the location for it. Unfortunately, the Ghost does get caught. So I guess Seoul was just going to try and bank on the fact that he could try and force the army there, kind of scare him a little bit. But, both players almost completely maxed out. And, I mean, Seoul actually just going to be sending some of those SCVs forward so that he can get an even bigger army. Also, Sniper SC, thank you for the subscription for 20 months. Amazing.
What a hero here. All right, here it is. We do have Yamato done as well. Gonna shoot a couple shots.
Oh, the mothership core! Oh my goodness, NEEB just completely recalling on top of Seoul's 3rd base. Once again, his army completely out of position. And so, this whole position is going to be dead. And every time I say position, it's a drinking game at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here, though, because now these units are kind of stranded, and there's a lot of Vikings and a lot of battle cruisers. I'm a little bit concerned for NEEB at this point. Most of his carriers are going to go down. He is, remaxing, remaking all of those things, but he's hitting this top base. DT's blinking into that top right location, is going to take that base down. And, Seoul was trying to shed some workers earlier. I don't know if he wanted to lose this many. DTs are going to try to get on top of some more of these command centers, but they have to pull back as those CCs start to fly away.
This game is epic, and I hope, Sunlily, I hope you're watching, because that was a play of the week right there. And I mean, Seoul, he's currently down to 51 workers, but does it even really matter at this point? He has so many mules. He is behind in terms of that income because he's not dropping them. But at the same time, he's maxed out once again. And, I mean, I like his army a little bit better here since NEEB, as they've said in the chat, doesn't really like making stalkers.
Soul thinking about dropping another nuke here. I don't know. I think you know, putting it and then realizing that he has to leave. These DTs are going to be able to blink away. Ooh, nice EMP there is going to reveal a bunch of them. But while that army's up the top side, NEEB's going to be able to push in and kill another command center at the bottom.
Yeah, so it comes down to who can really take these bases more efficiently. Soul still has about maybe 2 to 3 mining bases, while NEEB is sitting on a comfortable 4, plus this additional one with the gas geyser that he hasn't actually kind of secured just yet. So really he can afford to kind of whittle Soul down a little bit, but if he decides to do that, it's going to be a long time coming, as we see Soul going to be moving across the map with the fleet.
Yeah, there are a lot of battle cruisers. We are at 13 in total, plus those 12 Vikings. A lot of air units. Nice nuke going to zone this army out. Probably take down a couple of cannons as well. What's NEEB doing? NEEB's just kind of like going back and forth. Is waiting for that nuke to land before moving up. Yeah, there's just so much air, and it's all kind of, you know, bunched up here. It's going to be very hard to engage. Now, if it stays clumped and these Archons can get underneath it, they might be able to do some good splash damage.
Huge Yamato cannons going down over the entirety of those Void Rays, and now the Vikings and the battle cruisers just going to clean up how Sneeze's army dies there, the best way I could say it, and Soul takes the series